Connor Orr of Sports Illustrated's Monday Morning Quarterback. His thoughts on the hiring of Todd Monken.
Let's say they made this hire last year. I would be on the tabletop for it, pounding the table, because I think that Todd Monken's a really, really good play caller. Do I think he's going to mesh well with Shedeur Sanders? No. But I think he's. I can't wait
for the first something that happens on social media with Shedeur that he's got to answer for at the podium.
I mean, Todd is. I think he's a salty dog. He's an old salty dog, But so was Bruce Arians, and maybe Bruce had a little bit more of a personality. But I especially if you could keep Jim Schwartz.
See, that's the tricky part.
And that's the tricky part.
Let's welcome in Jared Mueller from Dogs by Nature. Jared, we'll get into Schwartz and Shedeur in a minute. Just your thoughts on Monken, New Browns head coach.
I think he's an interesting hire. I think, they talked about his age there. In some ways he's the offensive version of Greg Williams, at least from a presentation perspective, right? The gruff voice, the says words you're not supposed to say kind of thing. But overall, I think it's really hard to have a good feel for what he'll be like as a head coach. But that's no different than Nate Scheelhaus or, Grant Udinski or anybody else who hasn't been a head coach. The difference is he's about to turn 60 years old. And so he is a 5-year coach, probably at max 5-7 years. So there's not a lot of runway for him to kind of become that Sean McVay 20, 30-year coach kind of deal. But I think overall he's a really good leader. He's a very good communicator. He takes responsibility for when he makes mistakes or things don't go well. So I think there is a lot of opposite to what Kevin Stefanski was, at least from a presentation perspective. What that matters on the field is about 1%. But to fans, it's a really big deal. So I think it'll be interesting to watch as we kind of go, kind of the differences between the two coaches. Both are offensive minded, but just a different presentation, and see how the players kind of react to that.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I had said all along is if you change and you're going to a similar personality of coach, that doesn't make as much sense. Normally when you change, you want something different. And this, Todd Monken is going to be different to the players as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's, it's kind of the players manager to the disciplinarian is kind of a baseball thing. But yeah, you definitely want someone who presents a little different. It creates a shock to the system. And so again, all the coaches probably had some differences to them, but Todd Monken is very different. And I think, with him and Jim Schwartz, if they both come together, I think there's a lot of win-win there. Because obviously they haven't yet started the process of looking for a different defensive coordinator or a different defensive staff, and things are kind of starting to run out there.